All right, ready to dive into some pretty cool.
I'm all ears. What's on the agenda today?
We're going to help you prep for a cultural facilities manager interview.
Sounds like a plan. I'm in.
We're talking about the folks who keep museums, theaters, all those awesome cultural places running smoothly.
Ah, the unsung heroes behind the scenes.
It's a big job. And this deep dive, we're all about helping you nail that interview.
Should we talk about what we have to work with today?
We've got a career guide packed with insights, an interview guide from RoleCatcher.
Real questions you might face. Always helpful.
Absolutely. So for anyone listening who's maybe not super familiar with this role, let's start with the basics.
Lay it on me.
What does a cultural facilities manager actually do?
Well, the career guide calls it the backbone of cultural institutions, so that sounds pretty important, right?
Backbone, no pressure, right?
None at all. Just keeping everything upright and running smoothly. They ensure the smooth daily operation of these often complex organizations.
So managing staff, budgets,
You got it. They oversee maintenance, security, the works.
and the career guide highlights some seriously cool perks too. Working in that creative environment,
Being part of these amazing events.
knowing you're contributing to something bigger than yourself.
Now, that sounds like a dream job, doesn't it?
It really does. But, okay, time for full disclosure, right? The guide also mentions some challenges.
Challenges. Tell me more.
Think long hours, sometimes tight budgets.
And of course, the pressure to deliver top-notch experiences.
Exactly. But hey, no job is perfect, right?
Absolutely. And those challenges actually highlight the need for certain skills. Strong organizational skills.
Leadership skills, being financially savvy.
You need to be a strategic thinker and someone who thrives in a fast-paced environment.
Couldn't have said it better myself.
Okay.
You've heard the good and the, well, let's call them opportunities for growth.
I like that. Let's go with that.
Time to get down to prepping for those interview questions.
Let's do it.
We're going to be using RoleCatcher's interview guide, which has 9 common questions.
Yeah.
And for everyone listening, don't just sit back, okay?
Get those brains working.
Think about how you would answer each one.
Hearing these now and thinking through your approach will make a huge difference when you're actually in the interview.
Okay, question number 1, the classic. Can you describe your experience in managing cultural facilities?
A classic for a reason.
The guide suggests keeping it concise, highlighting relevant experience, and focusing on how you've overcome challenges.
Solid advice.
But how can we make an answer like this really stand out?
I think it's all about tailoring your response to the specific facility. So research their mission.
Their programs, their challenges.
Exactly. If it's a museum, for example, you want to showcase your knowledge of collections management or exhibit design.
What about if it's a theater?
Talk about your experience with stage production or front-of-house operations.
So really demonstrating that you understand their unique needs and how your skills can contribute.
Absolutely.
Okay, question number 2. How do you prioritize competing demands for cultural facilities?
Ooh, that one sounds stressful.
I know, right? It sounds like a constant juggling act.
It often is, but that's where you need to showcase your organizational skills and strategic thinking.
So how do you assess priorities? How do you allocate resources?
And of course, how do you manage your time effectively?
Specific examples are your best friend here.
Absolutely.
Now, this actually reminds me of the Cultural Facilities Coordinator profile in the Career Guide.
Oh, yeah. What did they say?
They were talking about coordinating a major exhibition while simultaneously managing a facility renovation.
Wow. Competing demands, for sure.
Using real-life examples like that just adds credibility, I think.
Totally. It helps the interviewers visualize you in the role.
Our question number 3. How have you managed budgets for cultural facilities in the past?
The money question.
They're looking for financial responsibility here.
And they want more than just hearing, I stayed within budget.
So showcase your financial acumen.
Exactly. How did you make strategic decisions to allocate resources? Did you secure additional funding, implement cost-saving measures?
And don't forget about those numbers.
Numbers.
Things like, I reduced expenses by 15% by renegotiating vendor contracts.
Ah, quantifiable achievements. Love those.
Question 4. How do you ensure that cultural facilities are accessible to diverse audiences?
Okay, an important one.
This isn't just about ramps and signage, is it?
It's about creating a truly inclusive environment for everyone, regardless of background, ability, anything.
The interviewers want to hear about your commitment to diversity and inclusion, and more importantly, your actions.
Actions speak louder than words, right?
So talk about programs you've developed for underserved communities.
Outreach efforts, changes you've made to make spaces more welcoming.
And remember, the career guide emphasizes that these facilities are meant for everyone to enjoy.
A fundamental principle.
Okay, question 5 is, how do you evaluate the success of cultural events and programs?
That's a good one. Gets you thinking.
Attendance and ticket sales? I'm guessing those aren't the whole story.
Not quite. They don't capture the full impact. Think about things like audience engagement, community impact, even educational outcomes.
Or the artistic merit of a performance.
Exactly. Did the event spark important conversations? Did it inspire a young artist? Those are the kind of stories that'll resonate.
You can also bring in tools like surveys or social media analytics.
Showing them you can gather and analyze data.
All about measuring success in a meaningful way. All right, on to question 6. Can you discuss your experience in managing staff and volunteers?
It sounds like a leadership question coming up.
They're looking for someone who can inspire and motivate.
Absolutely. But it's also about teamwork and communication.
Share examples of how you've built a strong team environment, provided mentorship, recognized contributions.
You know, the career guide mentions something that's really interesting about this role.
Oh, what's that?
Cultural facilities often involve working with a diverse team, including artists, performers, community members.
That's a lot of personalities.
So you need to highlight your ability to communicate with people from different backgrounds, manage those diverse perspectives, and navigate any potential conflicts.
Those are essential skills for sure. Okay, question number 7 coming up. How do you stay up to date on industry trends and best practices?
This one's all about passion.
It really is. Your passion for the field needs to shine through.
Talk about professional development. Do you attend conferences? Are you a member of organizations?
You follow thought leaders,
Engaging with the field.
The career guide even mentions specific certifications, like certified facility manager.
Or certified arts administrator. Those are valuable credentials.
It's not just about listing those activities, though, right? It's explaining how they've helped you grow.
And how you stay ahead of the curve.
Okay, we're on to question 8. Can you discuss your experience in developing partnerships with community organizations and stakeholders?
All about building relationships, I think.
What are they looking for with this one?
They want to see that you understand the value of collaboration and that you can build win-win situations.
So share examples of partnerships you've initiated, highlighting the benefits for both sides.
Could you collaborate on a joint program? Secure funding? Engage volunteers?
It's all about demonstrating your ability to connect with people, build consensus, and work toward shared goals.
And showing you're not just focused internally, but on the role in the wider community.
Absolutely. Okay, final question number 9. Here we go. How do you promote diversity and inclusion in cultural facilities?
We touched on this with accessibility, but now they're going deeper.
So how do we approach this revisited topic?
Yet I think this is your chance to showcase a holistic understanding of diversity and inclusion. Go beyond just accessibility.
Think race, ethnicity, gender identity, sexual orientation, socioeconomic status, age, ability, religion, you name it.
The whole spectrum.
Have you implemented initiatives to promote diversity in your staff or volunteers?
Do you seek out programming that reflects the diverse communities you serve?
And it's not just external efforts, right?
Right. What about fostering a sense of belonging and respect within the organization itself?
Creating that inclusive culture.
This question is about showing that you're truly committed to creating an equitable space, both internally and externally.
9 questions down. Feeling a little more prepared already?
Hopefully starting to feel a little more confident.
But before we wrap this part up, we've got a secret weapon to share. It's all about leveraging the power of AI.
Oh, AI. Always love a good secret weapon. Tell me more. Welcome back. Ready for more Cultural Facilities Manager deep dive action?
I'm ready. Still thinking about all those interview questions.
Yeah, we threw a lot at you. Hopefully feeling more confident now.
I think so.
Good, good. And remember, practice makes perfect, right?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay.
Practice, practice, practice. But before we move on to our secret weapon.
The secret weapon. Very mysterious.
I know. We'll get there. But I wanted to touch on something from the career guide first.
Okay, shoot. What's on your mind?
It's about the sheer diversity of cultural facilities out there.
Yeah.
I mean, we've been talking about museums, theaters.
Right. But it's so much broader than that.
Exactly. We've got art galleries, cultural centers, historical sites, libraries.
Don't forget zoos and botanical gardens.
Oh, yeah, those too.
Yeah.
So many different types of facilities, each with their own unique needs, their own challenges.
For sure.
Which just means tailoring your answers in the interview is even more important.
Oh, 100%. You wouldn't approach a question about managing a historic house museum the same way you would a performing arts center.
Right. So for instance, a museum.
Yeah,
A museum with all those priceless artifacts, it needs someone who really understands preservation techniques.
and security protocols.
You might even get asked about your experience with collections management.
Cataloging, preserving, documenting those artifacts.
Whereas a performing arts center,
Yeah.
you might need more expertise in stage production.
Lighting, sound systems, and of course, front of house operations.
Right? Managing those ticket sales, seating, the overall audience experience,
There are so many nuances to each type of facility.
which is where research comes in. Knowing the ins and outs of the specific place you're interviewing for, it just really makes you stand out.
Totally. It shows you've taken the time to understand their needs. You're not just applying to any old cultural facility.
You're genuinely interested in them.
Yeah.
But even with all these differences,
Yeah.
the career guide does emphasize that, the core responsibilities of a cultural facilities manager, those stay pretty consistent
They do. At the end of the day, you're creating a safe, welcoming, functional environment.
for everyone.
Visitors and staff alike, you're making sure everything runs smoothly behind the scenes.
The glue that holds everything
Thanks,
together.
Lou. I like that. And of course, you still need that sharp financial mind.
And a knack for strategic planning.
You're essentially running a business, right?
Right.
But one with a mission that goes beyond profit.
Preserving and promoting culture. It's
Yeah.
amazing.
It really is. Now, I actually thought the career guides section on the different stages in this career path was really interesting.
Yeah, the career stages.
Yeah. Like you might start as a cultural facilities assistant, right?
Providing support for events,
Yeah.
ensuring the facility's clean and safe.
Right. So learning the ropes.
Learning the ropes, exactly. Then maybe you move up to a cultural facilities coordinator.
Taking on more responsibility. Supervising staff.
Managing budgets.
And finally, you reach that cultural facilities manager position, leading the team, setting the strategic direction.
Making sure everything thrives. And the guide even mentioned a senior cultural facilities manager.
Oh, wow. The big leagues.
Right. Maybe overseeing multiple facilities or a huge organization.
So there's real potential for growth in this career. It's exciting.
It is. And, it's not always a linear path.
Oh, that's true.
People come to this field from all sorts of backgrounds.
Like what?
Some start in arts administration, event management, even hospitality.
Yep. And I think that emphasis on professional development, the certifications, the career guide mentioned,
Yeah.
those can really help you advance.
So for anyone listening who's feeling inspired, the takeaway is don't be afraid to explore different avenues. Build your skills. Network.
Network.
Right. Network with people in the field.
Exactly. Now, speaking of standing out,
Yes.
are you ready for that secret weapon reveal?
I've been waiting for this. Lay it on me.
Okay, drum roll, please. It's all about RoleCatcher's AI tools.
AI. Tell me everything.
All right, so picture this. RoleCatcher uses AI to analyze job descriptions.
Okay.
It identifies those key skills and keywords that employers are looking for.
Wow. So it's like a personal detective for the job market.
That's a great way to put it. And get this.
Yeah.
It can then compare those requirements to your resume.
No way.
Oh, yeah. Highlighting any gaps and suggesting improvements.
Wait, hold on. It actually tells me what's missing from my resume.
It can.
That's incredible.
And it gets even better. RoleCatcher also provides AI-powered feedback on your interview answers.
Hold on. It actually analyzes how I answer questions.
It does.
That is amazing.
So you can use their video practice feature, right? Record yourself answering those common interview questions.
Okay, so I record myself.
Then, their AI analyzes your responses, looking for things like clarity, conciseness, even your use of those keywords related to the job,
So it's basically like a virtual mock interview.
with an expert who can pinpoint areas for improvement.
It feels like a game changer.
In a competitive job market, having AI on your side can be a huge advantage. It's all about using technology to help you put your best foot forward.
I love it. Okay, before we wrap this up, I want to touch on something that always trips me up in interviews. Salary expectations.
Oh, yeah, that's a tough one.
The career guide touched on it briefly, but it deserves more attention, don't you think?
Absolutely. It's a question that makes a lot of people nervous.
Any tips for navigating this tricky topic?
Well, the key is preparation. Research typical salaries for cultural facilities managers in your location.
And for your level of experience, right?
Exactly. Websites like RoleCatcher often have salary data. You can also check industry-specific salary surveys.
Oh, good point.
And don't forget to leverage your network Talking to people who are already working in similar roles can be really helpful.
Insider info.
Right. So once you have a good understanding of the market rate, figure out your desired salary range.
Based on my skills and experience and the specific responsibilities of the role, I guess.
Exactly. And remember, it's a negotiation.
Oh, right, not a demand.
Exactly. Be prepared to discuss your qualifications, the value you bring to the organization.
Okay.
And don't be afraid to advocate for yourself.
Advocate for myself.
If you believe you deserve a higher salary, back it up with concrete examples.
My accomplishments.
And the impact you've made in previous roles.
I like it. Okay, now let's talk about asking questions.
In the interview.
Yeah. I think it's something a lot of people forget about. The career guide mentioned it, but it's worth diving into.
Asking thoughtful questions is so important.
Why is that?
It shows you're interested, curious, engaged.
Like you've done your homework.
Right. And it gives you a chance to assess whether the organization, the role, is a good fit for you.
It's a two-way street.
Exactly. So, what kind of questions are we talking about?
What should I be asking in a cultural facilities manager interview?
Well, you could inquire about the organization's strategic priorities,
Like their plans for growth.
their commitment to diversity and inclusion.
Okay.
You could ask about the specific challenges of the role, the team dynamics, the organization's culture.
Lots to think about.
You could even ask about professional development opportunities.
Or career advancement.
Exactly. The point is to tie your questions back to your research.
Show that I've been thinking about their specific needs.
If you've read about their plans to build a new wing, for example, you could ask about the timeline.
Or how the cultural facilities manager will be involved.
Right. Or if their mission statement emphasizes community engagement.
You could ask about their strategies for reaching underserved populations.
It's all about showing them that you've taken the time to understand their context.
Okay, feeling good. Lots of good stuff in this part.
Right.
But we're not done yet. Stay tuned for the final part of our deep dive. What's coming up?
We're going to explore the importance of aligning your values with the organization's mission.
Finding that perfect fit.
It's an essential element of finding a truly fulfilling career.
Welcome back, everyone. It's the final part of our Cultural Facilities Manager deep dive.
We've covered a lot of ground, haven't we?
We have. We talked about the role itself, those interview questions.
Don't forget about AI and RoleCatcher.
Right, all that good stuff. But before you head into that interview,
Here's one more thing.
one more crucial piece.
Finding the right fit.
It's so important. It's not just about getting a wide job in this field,
It's about finding a cultural facility where you really belong.
where their mission speaks to you.
Absolutely.
The career guide really drove this point home, I thought.
It did. It's all about aligning your values with the organization's work.
It makes sense when you think about it. If you're passionate about, say, preserving historical artifacts.
You'd probably thrive in a museum.
Right. But if you're more into contemporary art,
Pushing those creative boundaries.
yeah, a cutting-edge gallery might be better.
And if you're driven by social impact, using art to make a difference.
The Community Arts Center could be the one.
It's about more than just wanting the job. You have to believe in what they're doing.
And that passion, it shows.
It really does.
It makes you a more compelling candidate.
100%.
Okay, so how do we figure this out? How do we know if our values really align with a particular facility?
Research. Dive deep into their website. Look for their mission statement.
See what their programs are like.
Explore their past work, their current projects,
Their social media, what they're putting out there.
their community outreach initiatives, awards, recognition. It's like detective work.
You're looking for clues.
Clues about what they truly care about. And don't be afraid to reach out to people who work there.
Oh, good idea. Ask about their experiences.
The organization's culture, what it's like to be part of their team,
That insider perspective is so valuable.
and in the interview itself. Don't forget to ask those insightful questions.
About their vision for the future, maybe?
Their commitment to diversity, their approach to community engagement.
You can get a feel for their values, their priorities.
Exactly. And remember, it's a two-way street.
You're evaluating them.
They're evaluating you.
It's a partnership.
That's a great way to put it. Now, since we're talking about the future,
Yeah. What lies ahead for cultural facilities management?
what's coming down the pipeline? Well, the career guide hinted at some pretty cool trends.
I was wondering about that.
It's an evolving field for sure. In technology, it's playing a huge role.
In what way?
We're seeing museums incorporating virtual reality tours.
Ooh. Oh.
Theaters are live streaming performances. Cultural centers are creating online platforms.
For education and engagement, it's amazing.
Expanding access, reaching those new audiences.
I love that.
And sustainability is a big one.
Oh, yeah. It's everywhere now.
Cultural facilities are going green, reducing that carbon footprint, promoting environmental awareness.
Not just about preserving culture. It's about preserving our planet, too.
Exactly. And we can't forget about social impact.
Social impact. Tell me more.
Cultural facilities are becoming hubs for addressing social issues, promoting diversity and inclusion, creating spaces for dialogue.
It sounds like a really exciting time to be in this field.
It is. For those aspiring cultural facilities managers, being adaptable is key.
Tech savvy.
Socially conscious.
Making a difference.
Exactly.
And don't forget, folks, RoleCatcher is there to help you stay ahead of the curve. Industry news, professional development, even career recommendations.
All personalized for you.
You've got the resources?
So use them.
Well, I think that brings us to the end of our deep dive.
Wow, time flies when you're having fun.
Feeling prepared?
I think so.
Yeah.
We covered the responsibilities, the interview questions. We even learned how to leverage AI with RoleCatcher.
And how to make sure our values align with an organization.
Finding that perfect fit.
It's a career path filled with passion and purpose.
It really is.
So find a cultural facility whose work inspires you.
And let that enthusiasm shine.
Thank you for joining us on this deep dive. We wish you all the best in your journey.